Hey, what's up everybody? It's KyFy. I'm glad you could be here. If you are new, welcome. I hope you have a good time. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you are returning, what's goody? How are you? I hope you are well. It's been a different week and I have a lot to say, but it's only around a slim topic. But let's get into it. This is gonna be a reading for Gemini, but it's gonna be kind of tagged with Virgo. That's going to be my next reading, right? But this is going to be a reading on the solar plexus in general, well, specifically hold, right? So the solar plexus is known as a fire, the area of fire, clearly, right? But how can that be? Because when you look at what the solar plexus consists of, it doesn't consist of any fire. It's Gemini, Virgo, Libra, and Taurus, right? So none of those are fire, so where's the fire coming from? I thought about it for a very long time, and I figured out that through straight physics, if Earth falls and it keeps falling, right? It eventually is going to land somewhere, right? And cause a pressure. Same thing for air, Gemini, Libra, right? Taurus and Virgo is on the bottom. Gemini, Libra is on the top, right? In air, you have air pressure too. So when I thought about heat of compression, basically when you compress something, carbon compressed many different times over would become diamond, if I'm not mistaken. So what can come out of the compression? That's where the heat comes from, because through that action of becoming more of you are, considering with what you have. So what you have gets smaller, and it's a process, and you become more of what you are in more of a dense form. Or your mental space in general, the space that you have becomes more inflated. But how can you manage it? Like, how good are you able to manage it? So to me, that's what the solar plexus is about. It's the pressure to do and the pressure not to do. That's what it is. So in the solar plexus, you have hold and Netzach, right? One of them is on the light side of the tree of life, and one of them is on the dark side. Hold is on the dark side, and Netzach is on the light side. So when you talk about hold, it's the pressure not to do, and Netzach is the pressure to do. When you think about the light aspects of things, it broadens your horizons, and when you do things, you become better at what you do, you gain more experience, and you can do more with it. So just imagining, like, there's a sphere of influence around you that got bigger because you were able to do it. But that's on the mental side of the solar plexus. On the earth side of the solar plexus is the pressure not to do. So the pressure to solidify who you are in yourself, the pressure to keep everything else out, to be who you are without the programming, the pressure to relieve yourself of that programming. It goes tenfold, but you can imagine where this goes. But all of that pressure creates a heat. But that right there is where your soul shines. Your soul, I don't know if it gathers it or gets bigger. It's a light that you keep and you gather, grows, whichever way you want to understand it. But that to me is the solar plexus now. It's not just fire. It's accumulation of things to create the energy of fire. Alright. So that was a piece of the message. And the second part of the message was basically, we all know the spectrum of the chakras and the colors that inhabit it, right? But if you can understand that there's also black and white there too. So not that they're all colors, they mean something. So when we talk about what's here, actual and physicality, what are we looking at? So let's go through the color scope. When you look at the reds, you have the actual physical items. Sacral, you have the emotional items. So that's just the energies, right? And holding the sack. Now these are where the forms come in. So where physics and things like that take place. T for that is basically the space where everything is, or you can say where everything is balanced, right? That was the root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart chakra. The throat chakra is 1, 2, and 3 is the throat chakra, right? That's the blue, that's the ether, where everything is specifically, right? But it's also has to do with an energy in itself too. So it's double, triple, whichever way you like to see it. So going up the colors is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, right? We're gonna go to indigo, violet, right? So after blue, the throat chakra, you have indigo in the hokmah right here. Yeah, indigo. That's basically the third eye. And after the third eye, you have violet, which is the crown. So these two energies right here, even though blue is right here, you have light blue, or you have dark blue, light blue. It just represents two hues, right? But what are those hues? Those hues are basically canvas, more canvas-like energy. So that canvas gets painted on. But think about it this way: there's white light, and then there's dark light. It's not just negative energy, dark energy, divine feminine. There's an actual energy in darkness that we use. There's an actual energy in light that we use. So it's well-rounded. There's something about the dark light that we can use to help us. I heard one person say the absence of all light, and when you close your eyes and everything like that, you get to, when you meditate, while you're meditating, all this good stuff, you get to see, if you focus hard enough, you'll find some kind of orb looking shape or something like that. I think I possibly saw it, but I could have been bugging, but you know, later, maybe. But it was a greenish, bluish, you know, that's the best I could describe it. Yeah. And it's almost like you see it from your peripheral while your eyes is closed. So that's the best clue I can give. But in that respect, with all of these colors gone, there's still a canvas to be painted on, but it has no color. It's absent of color, but it's everything and nothing at the same time. Nothing we can actually interpret and see. So what is that? We will call that ether. I don't know who is in this reading right now, but it was a specific reason why I had to show that the colors have meaning past just the energy and light. Okay, food coloring. I've been talking about food coloring the whole time, all day. We are beings of light, and if you eat a certain light, you also block it from being used properly in you. So the red 40s, the yellow whatevers, and the greens and all this other stuff, this food coloring, you know, tricks, all of it, right? Just imagine all of it was designed to block the light from coming inside of us when we was young. And this is what we do daily in the morning before you even go outside into the sun, into the actual natural light. So it was just a whole bunch of kind of things that I was thinking about, but this is for whoever is here right now, and that's Gemini. So without further ado, let's get this reading started. So the Zin-Finity Board is an elementally energetic grid that flows on a 21-part circuit, housing all aspects of the mind in a still life fashion. So these are all the pieces of what I just mentioned. 21-part circuit. We're going to talk about all of it. Every card that goes here means a certain thing. It all goes with perspective. So I am here basically to kind of change the way you see things. It's not change your mind about anything, just give you a different vision of it. And that's what I believe I'm here to read for these Gemini today. So what's good? You are not two-faced. You are not two-faced. What is it about being on both sides of what? What is it? Both sides of what coin? Now you have the dark and the light. Naturally, that's probably what people think of. But what is it about that? The ability to have severity and mercy at the same time. So that's a power in itself. And that's why it's so scary. That's why people kind of stay away from you when it comes up to being on your bad side, because they know that you can be severe. But, you know, it's all in power, and power can be used differently. It can be used wrong. It can be used in a good way, right? But all in all, you're not two-faced. You have the ability to switch sides balance, like through balance evenly, whatever you need to, right? It's like the automatic defense. Oh, this is what's happening. I have something perfect for this. You'll never get to me. That kind of energy. It's like the ultimate shield. Oh, you're gonna be this way. Oh, I'ma just dodge. That's Neo. That's straight Neo. Like, that's who you are. Ain't no two-face. You just can't. They can't get to you, and you don't want to get to them. So it's scary. Alright, so how I do all readings for the signs goes as follows. I do a Tesla reading. That's vibration, frequency, energy, and I added sound in the stream. So VFE infinity, right? So where these die are right now, basically I'm going to draw them and I'm going to give you the numbers that they say. So it's going to tag to what I'm going to be saying now. So give me a few seconds. I'm gonna just do it. All right, so 2, 4, 1, what is this? 12 and 14. So the numbers in order from fire, air, water, earth, ether, if I gotta do it that way, right? 1, 2, 14, 4, 12. If that means something for you, here we go with it in 1 second, right about now. So if you've been with me, you more or less understand how I do these readings, but I'm going to be adding walkthroughs. So I have 2 readings so far. The first one is a Zin-Finity, the Zin-Finity Universal reading. The second one is this one right here. It's called the Tesla VFE Infinity reading, right? So I'm going to be putting 2 videos up explaining those, so I don't have to explain it every time. So without further ado, let's keep it going. So when it comes up to vibration, here we go. At 0, we have the Tower card. Now the Tower is a fire energy. This is fire and air. Therefore, fire can be here, right? So the Tower card is on suit. And what does it say right now? This is the area of I know. So each one of these black cards, you're going to have 10 of them, right? Each one of these black cards has a perspective. And in your mind, they do not overlap, and there's no more than what I present here. So I managed to find all of them. So this is why I say you can think of anything and it's here. Just the way I structure it, we get the energy down a little bit differently. So the Tower card. Sudden upheaval, lost foundations, and disaster. Wow. So we're talking about the solar plexus right now, and the fact that you're a Gemini, and that's the air card. So the pressure to grow your scope is under siege. Why? Because what you know is misguided in some ways. We all have programming, as I said before, but if it's sudden, you never expected it. When you're good at expecting things, you're always good. Like I said before, that two-face power, it's a power, it's not a deficit, right? That power to be ready for it all, or at least to immediately adapt, is under siege right now, because what you built wasn't meant for you. That's the only reason. And I'm thinking about the 2 sides right now. If you are people of the hue, that's the white and the black, do you lack the scope of color, or do you bask in it? You have to decide that for yourself. Do you understand the whole scope because you see from end to end, as I said? Or are you not choosing to look from end to end? And that's why this is happening. And I know is the throat chakra. Next up is the third eye. And this is basically your area too, because we just talking about the white and the black, right? So Hokmah is the white, Binah is the black. So on the white side, on the side of basically intuition, imagination, and friendship, right? You have the Queen of Pentacles. Now this is on suit because fire and air can be on this side, and that's great. The High Priestess is a water card, and air and water can be on this side, so it's great. So what you know, now this area right here in the light is I need. What you need is not out of whack too. And what you want, or sorry, this is I want and this is I need. I said it wrong, right? So I want is the Queen of Pentacles. What you're looking for, where you're going, is in the right direction. but maybe everything in that direction wasn't a sign yet. Maybe you were super observant. Maybe you had to tone it down a little bit and wait for the signs to come to you. Maybe you had to work on your attraction instead of your action. So that's just face value, really. The High Priestess is the water card, and this is on your place of I need. Now, the High Priestess is the connection between your crown and Kether, right? Now, this is your body, and this is your soul. And this is where the source of all your imagination comes from, and that's the throat chakra, right? So that source is under siege. I'm gonna keep saying that word so you understand why I'm saying it, right? So let's get the Queen of Pentacles real quick. Practicality, creature comforts, and financial security. Now that's great to have and great to look forward to. There's nothing wrong with that. Now let me go to the High Priestess. And this is inner voice, intuition, divine truth, wisdom, and unconscious. And that's great to have on this side, because if unconscious was over here, you weren't looking to go within yourself. So you have learned how to look for what yourself approves first. It's self-approved first. I don't know why I had to say that again. Well, my left eye was just itching like crazy just now, and that came out of nowhere. So if your left eye was itching during this reading so far, or if it does, whenever it does, it's meant for you specifically. So even if you don't think it resonates, it does, because I called it out, right? So let's move on to the next one, which is the Knight of Cups, and this is offsuit. So what you will, this is a place of I will, your will. You're not doing your actual will, you're doing somebody else's bidding. And on the side of I desire, which is, well, this is Chesed over here and Gabudaz over here in desire, right? We have the Five of Wands, and this is offsuit, but it's also reverse. So when I look at a reverse card in a place that is offsuit, you're doing the right things, or you're doing the wrong things, and it's leading you to the right results. It's like you're being backwards and it's working, but it's still off. There's a battle, and we're going to figure out what it's about. So let me get the Knight of Cups real quick. Following the heart, idealistic and romantic. Now, the crazy thing about following the heart, what fuels your heart might not be always good for you. So if you can understand that if you have an addiction, what fuels that power, that moment that gives you that pleasure, is not always good for you. So that's that one example right there. Idealistic is very selfish, because that means that your ego says, you know what, instead of the dream, I'm going to put my ideals on top of that. Instead of the fantasy, I think it's going to be this way, so therefore it's going to be this way. And you try to manifest it, but this is what it turned out to. What you knew wasn't for you. What have you been reading? What was the inspiration? Where did it come from? Is it an event? Is it like, I did a reading about the timetable. You know how people talk about what you bring to the table. You can look it up in my readings before. It's a good one, right? Basically, your table is the table of time, and not just a table that people put stuff on. No, the reason why you put stuff on is to eat, and that's an experience. The experience that happens throughout my life is my timetable. So what do you bring to my timetable, right? It has nothing to do with items. Items don't mean nothing when it comes up to love. Like, you can love somebody with nothing. You should want to love somebody if they had nothing. That's how you know you love them. So next up is the Five of Wands, and this is in a place of I desire. So this is avoiding conflict, respecting differences. Now, if you are avoiding conflict and you must war, you are losing on purpose. But it's a battle that has nothing to do with the ego. It has to do with what you truly want in this world. So when you decide not to fight, even though it's hard to, even though something strong can be in your way, you're deciding to give your ego, you know, the ego is swayed by the devil. You're deciding to give the devil power over where your life is going to go. And that's the reason for this tower. Stop everything that you're doing. If you thought it was a bad thing, you have to understand where it could go. God knows the chances and the coincidences and things like that that can happen to you according to what you're doing right now. So if you're stopped, they say rejection is the best protection. So that's that, right? This is the whole stoppage. Put a stop to everything that you're doing because you need to sit down and look. And as I like to say, if you feel like you can't do anything but one thing good, that's the thing that you need to do. You're not powerless. You have the tunnel, but not the vision. You got the pure tunnel. It's straight right there for you. Just look through it like a peephole, telescope. Oh snap! That's where I can go, and then you're gonna take off. That's all you need to be able to see it one good time. Because, like you said, like I said, you said, I'm talking about spirit. You adapt automatically. So once you see it, it's like, oh, they should have never gave these people money. Oh, they should have never gave him money. Who gave him money? Money is not just money, right? Money is not real. The money that you think is. Mana is the thing that's real. Time is real. Your space is real. Those are the things that are real, that are controlled by money. So money is the thing that like controls it all. But your time, your mana, and your space is what comes from you naturally. What is mana? I wanted to lift my arm, and I use my mana, my energy to do it, and my will, right? My mana allowed me to do this. Like, I wanted to do that. I can do this a certain amount of times because my mana won't run out. Well, that's more stamina. Mana is more in the mind and spiritual. So if you can think of how that affects stamina, it's the same goes for the spirit. So that's why I messed up and explained it the right way. That's crazy. So this is vibration. Next up is frequency. So I'm gonna get these next set of numbers out for you right now. So let me just So we have 2, 6, 6, 16, 4. So if these numbers resonated with you, this next part is specifically for you. So give me a little bit of time to get these cards out right about now. So this next part of the reading is frequency, right? So vibration, frequency, energy, frequency, right? This is these 5 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? These are the cards that are basically within your home. Before was the vibration that are basically everything outside of you, around you, things that come towards you. This is within your home, within you. And this is mainly has to do with your frequency, because whatever gets inside from the vibration affects you. So we're going to find that out right now. So continuing from the 5 of Wands, we have the Hermit. Now, this is an earth card in the place of air, this heart chakra, right? So this is offsuit. And let's get the Hermit real quick. Contemplation, searching for truth, and inner guidance. If you're searching, you don't have. So you're in the process of finding, right? Now, what is it that you're finding? The funny thing is about this solar plexus is that he has it in his hand. You found yourself and you're seeing where it takes you. So it's not like you're finding, you found it. Like I said before, once you find it, and now that you got it, you're going, right? That's where he's going. He's going to take everything that he has and he can take with him and go, because nothing of what he built before worked properly. So what was the fault? So it's better to start over sometimes. Sometimes fixing it wastes your time. Sometimes you just have to start over. And it's easier because when you write if you write a book report, the next time you write the book report, it's going to be easier, more well written, better, composition and all of it. Like, just better font, everything. It's just going to be better because you did it again. You did it again. You experienced it before, and the next time you have pointers for yourself, right? It just keeps working that way. So the Hermit points that out. You're training, and that's fine because you just found it. And you don't have to rush it because you found it right on time. You needed to know a certain amount of things before you found it, because if you found it too early, you probably would have been cocky in the adventure, right? You would have mishandled what the blessing is, which is you. God don't want you to mishandle yourself. Everything we're doing, everything you are doing is warranted by God. So if you think that you are punishing yourself, God allowed it because you wouldn't have been in that environment to experience what it was in the first place to punish yourself with. You were brought there for a reason. So don't think everything is your fault. You are guided to things to learn from. This is how we can relax, because if God got the plan, God got the key, it's just a matter of time. I'm gonna just have to learn from what I've been through before. It's not as hard as it seems when you rely on God. It's not as hard as it seems. Next up is the King of Cups. Now this is in the place of the solar plexus, so let's get it real quick. This is offsuit. This is water. Now, what you know is out of whack. What you will do, basically, you have judgment, right? And that's great. The information that you figured out has been figured out. There's nothing more to figure out. That's what the judgment is. There's nothing more to figure out. What are you going to do with it? There's an action after judgment, and that's will. That's the ability to will what you do with it. Like, so there's an action after that is what I'm trying to get you to understand. All right? So the King of Cups. Compassion, control, and balance. Now this is in a place of I do, right? I do passionate things, I control, and I balance. Now, even though this might seem like spiritual control, even though this might seem like you're sitting in your power, now this is a still image of what's happening or what's been happening. So it's not like you're thinking about what you're going to do that's wrong now. It's what's happened and I paused it. So just run with me with it, right? These two go hand in hand because it's almost like he was in here doing all the imbalance work. So basically what you're doing right now is fixing the situation because this tower is on fire. What you know is on fire, so you're having discernment and trying to balance things out. You're not doing anything else. You're putting out flames. Okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. And that's what the sitting in the power is about. So it's a good thing. It is still a good thing. But there's no growth. There's, like I said before, the pressure to do, which is what you're doing, you're getting rid of, and that's condensing who you are into a stronger being. Therefore, you're less brittle. You're becoming less brittle. Alright, next up is the Six of Cups, and this is in a place of I feel. I feel what? This card is on suit, but it's reversed, right? So we're going to figure out what that means. Moving forward, leaving home, and independence. Now, this works hand in hand with this because you have to have the ability to pour out so more can be poured in, right? The cups that was there before, even though it was familiar, right? Even though it was familiar, what was there before wasn't for you. It kept you safe. But when it's time to grow, you have to leave these things because there's more for you to grab. And my favorite example about letting go so you can hold more, right, is Trevor Noah. He gave an example about how his mother taught him about sharing. She had a whole bunch of candy, and she said, as much as you can fit, you can hold, you can take. But you have to use your hands, you can't use your pockets. So he had all the candy he can hold in his hands, but his friends is right there, and the candy was for his friends. So he decided, well, I don't know if he decided or it was decided that he was going to give his friends more candy, right? So after all of their hands was full, which was from the source, his mother, then they all was blessed, right? So it's up to you to share your blessing because there's more to come. I had to give that example. I know I kind of botched it, but I think I did what I need to. But the Seven of Pentacles is at Malkut, and this is a place of I am, where your fear is involved. No, you have no fear waiting. You don't have a hard time waiting for anything because you know it's going to work. You've adapted, therefore, no matter what you're doing, it's leading towards it. Even if it is slow, you've adapted. So that's your ability, right? So Seven of Pentacles. Hard work, perseverance, and diligence. There's an impatience here because there's a lot of sitting down, waiting to find, and you notice it. 7 is perfection. That means you're completely in line but it's not like you can do anything more than what you're doing. Like I said before, God puts you in this one bubble, one position to learn something, one thing great. Learn one thing great and master it. Then God could move on. That kind of thing. Like, no. You're going to get to a level 100 in this minuscule skill, talent. And then we're going to move on. And you're going to know why later. Because I'm going to need that 100 later. And if you don't do it now, you're going to think that you're in your ego. Like, and you don't know the basics. You have to know all of the basics. The whole plan. The whole vision. You have to know it. Alright? But you're not scared or worryful about when that's going to happen. Because you already know you're in line. So, that's the running idea. And your frequency is kind of really good. To be honest. Alright. So, these are the 10 perspectives in your mind that you see with the black cards. I know, let me start from 0 to 10, right? I know, I want, I need, I will, I desire, I love, I do, I feel, and I am, right? I didn't say I be. This is the crown chakra right here. And this is your being. At the beginning and ending, wow. At the beginning and ending of every day. In the beginning. In the beginning. In beginning. I can't even mess up properly. So, in the beginning and the end of every day, that's who you're going to be. The Queen of Cups. So, with that said, we're going to move on to what the energy has to play. Or has to say. When you talk about energies, you have to think about domains. The domain of the mind, the domain of the spirit, the domain of the body, the domain of the soul. The domains is where the energies lay and transfer between each other to find balance and things like that, right? So the domains are very important. And these domains, you get these kind of answers. Who, what, when, where, and why. Why is over here. I'm gonna tell you in a second. So the world of emanation is who, and it's this triangle right here, right? Basically, this is where your soul is. This is where your ideas come from. This is where your imagination rests. This is where you have the energy to. This is your source power. This is where it comes from, right? That's that. The next up is the world of creation, which is Bariya, and that's of the spirit, right? I'm gonna move on. Yetzirah is of the mind, and this is the world of formation. And the world of manifestation is Asiya, and that's the physical body, right? Well, the physical domain. So look, that's who, what, when, where, and lastly we have source. Now source is obvious. It's the obvious tag on what it's supposed to do, what it does. So it's not really much to explain. But the source card holds the question why. Because that's who we ask why to every time. Source. Why is this happening? Why? Who is doing this to me? Because I thought it was this. What is this? When am I going to get my blessing? Where is my blessing? Why haven't my blessing come? All of these questions right now, just hold them in your mind. Because I'm about to answer all of them. In order. Technically, the order is who, where, when, and then what. So I'm going to do it that way. So, 2, 8, 18, 2, and 4. 818 and 242, 224, 422, whichever way you need to mix it around to make it, you know, it's a jumble. But these next cards are going to be oracle cards. I feel like oracles can give the exact answer. When it comes to the cards, it's not so much, in my opinion. But let me get these cards down right about now. Alright, so in the place of who, we have transformation. In the place of what, we have the divine masculine. In the place of when, we have trust. In the place of where, we have focus. And why is psychic. So let's get who out of the way. It could be me, it could be you, it could be them, or it could be that fool. But we don't know. So let's get it. Transformation. The butterfly goes through many stages before it becomes the beautiful creature it is. Honor your process and allow your beauty to be seen by all. Wear more color to help announce the arrival of your exquisite transformation. Meditate on this when you want to call in more beauty, grace, and acceptance during times of transition. Alright, so the who is the person that either needs to go through a transformation, you trying to get to move to another place. There's a force here. But then again, change must occur. So since you've adapted, okay. When you adapted, or when you adapt, your energy changes and it becomes demagnetized or magnetized to the situations around you, right? So if you get better, your energy repulses things. So if it feels like people are repulsed by you, it is a projection of what God needed to happen. And unfortunately, we need to go through some of this pain to understand the lesson and to be greater, because when you get to that higher standard, more people are going to be looking at you. So you got to be tough, and this is all in training. So where you need to go, you are tough enough for. So that's transformation, and that's who. What, I'm gonna just do it this way. What is the divine masculine? So let's get it. So the divine masculine is the embodiment of logic, direction, direct action, and strength. In its most evolved aspect, he represents the builder, the protector, and the guardian. Drawing this card can symbolize that the divine masculine energy is needed to have balance in your current situation. It can also represent the father, brother, healing, and the healing of relationships within the divine masculine in your life. So the divine masculine in itself is about form. On the side of the spirit is energy, and that's feminine, right? When energy comes out, it needs a form to maintain it. When you have that form to maintain it, then it's like a united thing, and it can be used and be prosperous or whatever, right? So that form is necessary for the energy that's required, and that's the masculine aspect. So when it comes to fathers and fatherhoods like that, you kind of have to define what it is that the father does for you. Or if you don't have one, I didn't grow up with my father. Since I didn't grow up with my father, I always thought that I lacked, right? And then it was till a certain time that I just said, oh snap, I actually gained, because certain things God didn't want to leech onto me. You understand? So certain people were pushed out of your life early on, so that spirit didn't get attached to you. Because now that you see them, would you have wanted to have that influence on you? So that's the divine masculine right now, and that's in the body. That's physical. Something that's tangible, something that you manifested, or something that was manifested. So that's something that can be seen. So that was what. Next up is when, and that has to do with trust. So let's get it. Step into the unknown. All may not be revealed at this time. Trust in unseen forces. Meditate on this to let go of all attachments or possibilities. Free yourself from dharma and increase your trust in your guides and the universe. So the universe is with spirit, and that's where, right? Universe. You and I, you are the universe. The universe is inside of you. Just imagine it any way you want it. You cannot escape the universe, because when you sleep, that's where you are, right? But trust is important, but without action, or rather inaction in this case, the pressure not to do, right? That's what I was talking about the whole time, the pressure not to do. So you see it. It's almost like revenge is right there, and you're like revenge is right there, and you really don't care. It's like, I can do this and it'll just be done, but I'ma just not do it because God said not to, and I'll just trust it. And that's where the trust comes in play. There are certain things that have been done to you in your life where you're ready to just take like victory over. It's not just revenge, it's victory. You want to win that situation. it constantly scarred you, right, within your whole life. So what will happen if that energy is now at your disposal? So next up is where, and that's in the spirit, and this is focus. If you have been feeling scattered, now is the time to hone in your desires. Time to be direct and very clear with your intentions. Watch your thoughts, because you are drawing into your life what you are focusing on. Meditate on this card when you want clarity and directness in thought and speech. Now, for some reason, the lens came up in my mind. When you focus a lens, regardless of what light is shining through it, the light will be more intense if you can focus it right at a center point, right? So imagine that as your focus. When it's pinpointed, it's going to burn something. But is it necessary? If it's you, it won't burn. It's almost like it has that shield around it. No, it has that shield around it, and it won't burn anything that wasn't supposed to be there. And this is why this tower is burning right now. It's because you have focus. You are focused on what it was. So what was running within you, or within your scope, within your kingdom, within your tribe, what's around you, the people that were working with you, that almost you could have swore was working against you. But you know, people are just kind of being them. And sometimes it's projection. You thinking that they're working against you. They're just being them so beautifully. Oh. Ignorance is bliss. And when you don't want to, if you want to bask in ignorance, you are basically training pawns for God. God gonna bring them around you because they are training pawns. Just pawns for training. Oh, I'm gonna put this knight in front of you. Watch this. You gotta get past them because you know you're conscious of it, and eventually you're a master of the situation because you have so much focus, right? And that's another 6. And I remember 616 came out, and 6246 right here, and trust 16, and transformation. If you turn this up down, 61, right? What else? Oh, I forgot. The 6 of Cups is upside down, but that's why. 6 of Cups. So lastly is why, and this is because you are psychic. Something is psychic. Some kind of psychic ability is necessary. It's within you. You can see it. You see the attack. Something. You have an ability in the psychic area, and that's why. So let's get it. I never got that card, so I'm hyped. Intuition, empathic gifts, psychic visions, prophecy, and powerful dreaming are present. You have access to a greater wisdom that is beyond what the human eye can see. This is the time of great awakening. New psychic abilities and gifts come to you now. See the sacredness in your visions. Pay attention to your dreams and the symbols that are repeating as messages. Meditate on this symbol when you want to expand your healing, creative dreaming, and psychic abilities. Okay, so it pointed out that you're very psychic, and that's why you were not hesitant at all in going at the first message. But what if the first messages were from the devil? Oh, go this way, go this way, go this way. Longer route, more experience, but when you get back to that destination, you actually move faster. So the devil can't actually beat you. He can only train you to go faster. That's what the devil's there for, because you're completely protected, because you are a soul. You are God's child. The devil can't do nothing but make you cry. Can't even make you cry. You have to accept it. And when you get to that acceptance, when you start learning acceptance, that is a frustrating journey. Acceptance. So this is why. Now, the next part of the reading is sound. And what does this have to do? Sound has to do with the care. Vibration, frequency, and energy creates a sound. And that first sound we want to say is Om, right? That was the first sound, right? Om, right? That's the sound. So we're trying to get to perfect harmony, perfect balance. And how do you do that? By every one of these cards that are off right now, 3, 4, there are only four cards off. So only 4 perspectives in your mind that need a little extra information on, right? 4 perspectives. So we're going to get those perspectives, and we're going to draw cards on them. And when we do that, they're going to be on suit. So that'll give you the full scope of what you need to care for, right? So I'm going to use these cards. I already shuffle and all that. I don't cheat. I don't like to do that because it's just what it is. So, okay. So basically, the first energy that was off, first perspective that was off, was your will, because the tower wasn't off. It was just a focus on something, right? It was your will. 2 cards came out, and I just put them down, and it did complete the energy, the circuit, basically, right? So your will is not going to be a problem anymore after I talk about this. So let's get it real quick. It started with the Knight of Cups, and that's following the heart, being idealistic and romantic. Romance is the language of the dead. So you have to understand, perfection is dead. Romance is the language of perfection. And if perfection is dead, why are you going after something that you will never be, right? It will never be perfect. You are here to be imperfect because God is perfect. Don't try to be God, right? Be yourself. You are that perfect thumbprint of what God brought you here to be. So there's a kind of confidence in honor that you can hold for holding that position. Just being alive is just like, oh, you just wanted me to be me. Yeah, have your experiences and come back to me and tell me how it was. That kind of thing. So went from there to the 3 of Swords. Heartbreak, suffering, and grief, naturally. But this energy didn't complete it, so it was still off suit, because fire and earth need to be on this side, right? So naturally, after you found out that wasn't the way you needed to go, all that energy had to come out some way, and it seems like it was a form of grief, because grief is in the heart. Grief is in the heart, and this is why the Hermit is so important, because you had to build your new heart. You had to build a new place to be, and this is what you're doing. So that's why these 2 cards are talking to each other right now. So it ended off with the King of Wands. Big picture, leader, and overcoming challenges. So that's important because, as I said before, judgment is necessary in order for you to move on something most of the time. You need to judge the situation. Okay, I can jump over this cliff, therefore I will actually try to do it. Even if I make a mistake, I knew I could, right? God will take the rest. So that judgment happens, and you're sitting in your power with the King of Wands, being able to see the vision. Oh yeah, you adapted, and once you saw the vision, even a spark of it, a little hint, oh snap, I could do this, that kind of thing. And when you started to go forward, nothing else mattered, because it's almost like, oh, that's what it's all for. That kind of energy, that's about to come out for you. It only takes a little bit of time. And what does that mean? Every card that I put up has to do with time and energy in order for it to be balanced, right? So you can take that how it resonates. Next up is the 5 of Wands in Gebura for I desire, right? Nine of Wands. I wasn't even going to. I can't even get these guys out. 7 of Wands. I don't know. Knight of Pentacles. So I only do a goldfish style kind of pluck when I do this, because if I hit a pattern, I'd be plucking all day, right? So I do 3. So let's get this real quick. The energy did not fix, so that means what you desire was off, and naturally the tower was here for that purpose. So you already knew this. This is not something new. You actually knew it the whole time. You were waiting to get rid of it. You just, you got to make sure before you actually, some steps that you take in your life, you need to make sure, because it can feel like a burnt bridge to somebody else, but it's actually you leaving. Nothing was burnt, right? So first up, we got the 5 of Wands. Wow, whoa, 5, 9, and a 7. 9:57. I don't know. So the Five of Wands is competition. This is reversed. So avoiding conflict, respecting differences. And this made you hesitant because you were tiptoeing around everybody's eggshells, right? Now that you're not doing that anymore, you knew that you were doing that, and when it was the time not to, you were just gonna burst out of your shell and just not give, not care. But you care about yourself. You don't care about, well, we have to figure out a way to talk about ourselves and then not have that selfish kind of connotation. Like, to feel nasty, that negative energy with it. It's your selfness. You have your consciousness, you have your selfness. It's two places, right? It's two energies, two domains, that kind of thing. So it's not that it's evil in itself. You can mismanage it. It's being mismanaged, right? So it went from there to the Nine of Wands, and that's resilience, grit, and taking the last stand. Yeah, that's a lot of energetic energy in your ego, and this is 9-part fantasy, right? The reason why I say this is 9-part fantasy, because anytime I'm talking about this side, I'm recognizing that there is a dream. The spirit knows your dream. The spirit can speak to God better than we can. I'm gonna just say it that way, right? I don't know the full specifics of it. Can spirit see God and talk to God and all that, or is it just an energy that's blind? I don't know. Those are my perspectives with it. But because spirit works through us. It's not that it's here already, it works through us. So that was my little thing. Next up is the Seven of Wands. You took the last stand and it was tiring, but now you persevere, you're taking defense and maintaining control. So even though that this is your fantasy, it's a little swayed, it's not really your dream. Every dream is 9-part fantasy, and if you don't get the fantasies right, you won't fully recognize your dream. Or 10-part fantasy, or 9. I want to say 9, right? And then it ended off with the Knight of Pentacles. It was the Knight of Cups over here, and the Knight of Pentacles came out over here. Let's see. This is efficiency, hard work, and responsibility. Now the reason why, hard work and responsibility, kudos, right? Everybody needs that. But when you need to rely on spirit, that requires that patience that you are good at. So even though you can build, and it's easy to, it's almost like you slip up and build. Relax, because when it's time to build, all of that energy that you waited on to build, it's almost like sexual tension. It's the same type of function. All of that creativity, you're waiting to vent, waiting to release it. When you get back to that page, that paper, it's over. It's going to be something that you've never seen before. And you're the artist, right? So the same thing can go with your blessings and manifestations. When you hold back, it's like it grows into something more. So when it comes out greater. Instead of a level 1 manifestation, now you waited, now it's a level 3 because you have more data and you worked with it more, you thought about it, you wrote stuff up and down about it, that kind of thing. So that was the Knight of Pentacles. Next up is the Hermit card. So the Hermit, even though we talked about it a lot, it's a good concept. You still don't have the space you need. You still don't have the space you need. You're still not there yet. So first card that came up is the Temperance card, and this is the fire on air. So it helps it out because fire supports air, right? But let's keep going. The Tower and the Ace of Wands. Alright. So 3 fire cards came out. We've been talking about the Tower the whole time. And Tower wanted to be talked about again. Alright? So the first card that came up was the Hermit. Let's go over it again real quick. That's contemplating, searching for the truth, and inner guidance. This is great when you want to find a new space. You aren't there yet, you know you need to be there, you know you're going to get there, and it's safe and it's going to be everything that you needed, and that's fine, but you are not there yet. It's still some work to do, but it's more like work and patience. It's hand in hand at this point. You've done most of the work. You just need to wait till the next steps are available at this point. And God honors that because you see the messages. You see all of the messages. And now that you know which messages not to go on anymore, you're only making the right decisions. You know, we are human, we live, but you're making most of the right decisions. 70-30, right? Then it went to the temperance card, so let's get it. That's middle path, patience, and finding meaning. Naturally, okay, this is a tower of information. So, not that it was all read on and looked on and studied. It's there for you to use, and it's being burnt up. So your information is not like it's not of use to you. You can either hurry to figure out what is in there before it's burned down, so you can go to the next level, or you can just accept that God will burn the things that it needs to, and just accept the situation for what it is. That kind of thing. So this temperance card is talking about that. That meaning is everything. I'ma just start over, and I'll work it because I'll have the energy because I can see it. Yeah. Then naturally it came to the tower again. A sudden upheaval, lost foundations, and disaster. Let me read the reverse real quick. Disaster avoided, delayed disaster, fear of suffering. Well, since there's no fear, you're running towards the disasters. Oh man, you're running towards these big cycles that held you down for so long. You're running towards it because you see it in your way, and your dream is so much more beautiful than these cycles. So therefore these cycles are being demagnetized away from you. Remember that focus? Or I forgot what it was. I forgot which card it was, but it was magnetization and polarization and all that other stuff. You know, magnets pushing away, pulling towards you. The things are being pushed away. You can't even reach them. God is saying, don't worry about it. Sit still. It won't even be able to reach you. When you move, it'll be blocked. It'll be pushed. So don't worry about it. And it ended off with the Ace of Wands. Creation, willpower, inspiration, and desire. Now, like I said before, fire supports air. Well, fire supports air, right? So let's see what it. For some reason, I'm remembering. Oh, I was about to look at this side, talk about the fire that came up over here, but a lot of fire came up in the next round of cards, the next deck, the second deck. So you have a lot of. It's not spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is the water. Fire is the energy of the soul, right? So you have a lot of soul power, emanation power. Anything that you want to do, there would be an idea for because you just wanted it, right? Your soul was waiting to cash out on you. So all it needed was for the door to be open. And doors are portals. Portals are chakras. Portals are also perspectives, right? So when these perspectives are giving you what you need, right, it becomes energy for something else. So yeah, I think that's all I needed to say for that part. Next up is the King of Cups in the area of I do, and this is the last card that's off. So let me get these cards ready. Two of Pentacles. Too many. Oh. I bent the card by mistake, but the way I think is I saw a mirror reflecting the sun. Imagine you tried to look away from the sun and right behind you there was a big glass, a mirror reflecting the sun in your face. So regardless, the situation is going to be revealed to you. So you will not see these messages. It will not pass you. It will be so close to you, you'll wake up and the message is going to be here, and it'll scare you. God does not want you to miss this next blessing, so don't worry about it. You can relax. You will not miss it. So the sun finished this energy. So let's start off with the King of Cups real quick and see where that takes us. So it started off with compassion, control, and balance. And as I said before, it was dousing the flames of this fire that you had to put out yourself. You started yourself and put out yourself the information that you knew. Oh no, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Let me stop doing what I'm doing and fix all of these issues because I was making the wrong moves, right? So that's what that was. And went from there to the Two of Pentacles, and that's being indecision off 2 and 2. So let's see. That was balancing emotions and stuff like that, and now this is balancing decisions. Now, the Two of Pentacles reminded me of these two energies, the two coins, the two faces, and things like that, who you are naturally. So this is adaptation on one side, adaptation on another side. It's not like you have to make the decision. Whatever the situation is the decision. So you win both ways. You decided to win both ways. Okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do this. Completely protected, and not just from spirit, from your plans. And it went from there to the sun, and that's why everything's revealed, because you planned so hard. You've been planning, and you didn't know it, because your pain brought you to think about things to get you to think other things. And when you use those gifts, and when you use those experiences in different sectors of your life, right? And you go like, no, I could just do this. Nobody would know what you're talking about because they didn't go through it. So sometimes it's best to keep quiet, because the lack of trust, you won't even be able to see it. Or they won't even be able to see it and benefit. So yeah. But the sun is out, so regardless of where they look, the glare will be there, and if they focus hard enough, they'll know it was you all along. So with all that said and done, the energy is balanced and the sound is complete. You know, when I say complete, you know, the sound is pure. It's a pure Om right now. We're getting somewhere, right? The next part of the reading is called the stream. I call it the star stream. The stream just fit this way, so it really doesn't matter which way I say. It's the same kind of idea, because after we get all this information, what can we do? And this is the area of ifs. If I do this, this can happen. This can happen. If I do this, this can happen. So it's unlimited in its own right, and at the same time, well, let me do this way. It starts off with experimentation, then expression, then it is integration, then it's transcendence, and then it's ascendance, right? I always forget that one for some reason. Ascendance. But this has to do with your aspiration, and since we started this reading at this card, we're going to end off at this card too, or this area. So I use the oracles for this portion, so give me 1 second to get these down. The full moon in experimentation, good fortune in expression, okay, gratitude and integration, shadow and transcendence, and the last card is spiritual cleansing in ascendance. So this is how you level up. Well, yeah, you self-transcend. That's beyond leveling up. That's like the reason for everything, the goal, the main mission, right? Because I believe everything we're doing right now is a side mission, and when you claim who you are, the main mission is revealed to you. So we can do whatever we want, but there is something that God would like in this earth, this place, this realm, and we are sent here to be those angels that bring it, right? So starting off with experimentation, we have the full moon, and we got full moon energy all over right now. A ceremony, culmination, or completion of a cycle in time. There's magic here. The full moon has the power to magnify your dreams, and it can also take away anything not in alignment with them. So this is why this card right here, experimenting with getting rid of the things that aren't in alignment with the messages that you receive from those things, right? The information is kind of coming full circle. Be open to the magic and the wonders of all things. Meditate or perform a ritual on the full moon to draw more of her powerful feminine receptive energy into your life, projects, and rituals. This just means when the moon is up, when the moon is at its brightest, right? The places on the tree of life or whatever that you can think of that has moon energy is easier and more powerful to attain, more powerful to level up, or easier to mess up in, but it depends on where your level of ignorance is with the situation. So yeah. So next up is good fortune, and this is in a place of expression. So you can express. If you express good fortune, let's see. No matter what your query, the universe gives you its blessing. This is also a powerful time for manifesting. So ask now for what you want more of in your life. It is granted. Acknowledge the blessings in your life and more will appear. Remember when I said that you are the universe is you, right? And when you can grant yourself, because you are the peace of God brought here, you have power. The universe serves you. The matrix serves you. We are responding to what's happening to us according to what we're doing. So the good fortune of it all is the fact that you've been doing some things to get rid of the karma. It's not like getting rid of it, right? But you're balancing out the karma by doing good work. You've been doing that, and it's bringing you good fortune, because authenticity is the greatest energy. You authentically want to give, so therefore you get a lot, and in turn you give more, and then you give a lot more, and then you playing this game with God. Oh, okay, God, you want to give me more? Got it. I'll figure out a way to give it away again. And that brings a sense of trust. And once God trusts you, well, once spirit trusts you, God knows you. Spirit gotta trust you. Two different things, right? So once spirit trusts you with the power, then they're gonna be working on the next thing. There's so much more to do on this earth. We're called here to do so much. So don't think you're going to run out of inspiration. Just do the work that you see in front of you. So next up is gratitude and integration. A deep honoring is present. Give and feel great thanks now for whatever blessings have arrived or are en route to you now. Join this card invites you to share devotion or outwardly express gratitude to someone or something for its presence in your life. Meditate or create a gratitude list for all that you are thankful for in your life. Now, ever since I've, ran into the information that water can basically absorb energy and information and all this other stuff, right? That made me think that everything is conscious. So if everything can do it, you have to have gratitude for the things that are around you, because let's just say you're not in a place where you can be grateful for everything. If you are, let's just say when you're using those things, it would make it feel like it's 5-star, because that's how much the gratitude can make the situation better. You're experimenting with that. So that's that. Let's move on to the shadow, which is in transcendence. How can you transcend this situation? This is where you level up, right? See the difference between transcendence and ascendance. You got Pokemon. You need to get to level 16 before you go to a Pidgeotto. You was a Pidgey, level 16 Pidgeotto, right? That's transcendence, ascendance, right? So shadow. This is honestly one of my favorite cards. What is hiding in the dark? What is it that you are afraid of or don't want to see? This card comes to tell you that all cannot be in the light because there must be a balance. Exploring the beast requires you to comfort those unhealed parts of yourself, those aspects you deem unworthy or unlovable. The time is now to bring light into the house, usually concealed spaces, so that they may be healed appropriately and or banished forever. The shadow or the hidden beast is not evil, just misunderstood. So, the shadow is one of the things probably in 2024 that's the most implemented into people's life, because that's your selfness, your shadow, right? That's your selfness. And the more you tend to yourself, you have to nurture yourself, and your shadow will be good towards you. Your shadow will tell you things. Nah, don't do that. I know that energy. That's the energy of hate. Don't go around that person. Oh, that's the energy of lust. That person is trying to get that thing. Oh, that's the energy of envy. Yeah, your shadow knows this because it's of it, right? And it can tell you everything that it sees on the opposite side. So that's how you can find that partnership and that teamwork with your spirit. Union is within yourself. You don't need a person. But with a person, you double up, triple up, quadruple up. That's just what gods do, right? That's just what we do. So next up is spiritual cleansing in ascendance. So let's get it. This is the last card, but it's a really good card to end off with. It is a time for a spiritual cleansing of the body, minds, or spaces which you reside. There is an imbalance, stuck energy, or heaviness in your environment that needs to be released before you proceed further. And that's crazy, because spiritual cleansing came on top of the first card, and that was the first issue, and the last issue. So, alright. This is the point of the flag in the castle, the kingdom, and the flag in my previous reading. The flag is what the two parties want and what they're going for. Because they're on a team, because they're in a partnership, they can achieve something. And the greatest thing that they can imagine is where this area is, and that's of aspiration. So with a little spiritual cleansing, figuring out who yourself is and how to nurture yourself, then you're transformed. Alright, so that was the reading. I hope you got everything that you can hope for. You know, this is a reading, so if it resonated with you, I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe it with your favorite reader. And the reason is because it's going to be an app for all readers and all spiritual, anybody into the spiritual sciences studies. If you're interested in it, if you want to be a part of it, everybody. It's going to be all people who are interested in spirit in general. And on top of that, because this is led by tarot, that's where it's going to shine. So with all, just imagine your favorite reader with this. Imagine what it would look like, because I am a reader of the mind. I'm a reader of formation. My mind is tailored to the divine masculine. So I created this to be the divine masculine approach to tarot in general. Nobody's going to see anything greater than this in tarot and spiritual studies, none of it, for the next 100 years. When this app comes out, it's going to blow everybody's mind, and I can't wait. So I hope you got a new perspective out of this reading. That's what I'm here for. If you're able to see better and move better and do better things, if you're able to see the tricks, then the devil has to learn you all over again, and that cycle is complete. So it's time to fly. I'm KyFy. Peace.